Welcome to the State of the Union for 10/4/2020. Hey, did you get that? Did you see that meme that's going around today with Smokey and the Bandit and the Snowman?
No, what's that?
What day is it today, Bandit?
What day is it?
10/4, Snowman.
Very nice.
10/4. Smokey Bandit jokes aside.
Hard copy.
What's up?
It's a hard copy.
It's a hard copy, son. 10/4, good buddy. We've got some pretty awesome stories to talk about today. First off, Greg, how's your week been?
My week's been great.
That's awesome.
I'm excited to share what's going on on the music combine here.
Yeah, we got some pretty heavy stuff today.
There's a lot going on right now.
A lot going on. I think from last week's State of the Union, if you were listening, which was horrible audio quality, and we severely apologize. But this week we're back to normal stance and things that are good as far as our standards go here at the combine. I want to talk about the first thing I saw this week, and this was May 10th, 2017. This came out. And it was on Joe Budden's podcast. If you know Joe Bubben, he's probably one of the bigger podcasters in the world. But it came out in 2017. But there was an article in Forbes magazine that stated that there wasn't going to be enough of a pie to go around for mid to lower tier musicians because of all of the pie being eaten up by the larger tier musicians. So let's just listen to this.
An article in Forbes, though, that echoed everything that I have been saying about music and the industry's basically swallowing itself. What the article was basically saying was, and I could find it in my phone, but fuck that, I'm freestyling. The article was basically saying that because there's not going to be enough money for some of the sub-tier artists to compensate for what they do, eventually they will drown themselves out and find other fucking career paths. And I just started laughing.
Why is that funny?
Artist Joe Bubben.
It's funny, number one, because they're absolutely right.
True.
They are absolutely correct. And it don't seem like enough people care.
Well, no,
Actually,
that's kind of interesting because I think...
Let me find it. I'm going to find it.
No, I disagree with Forbes, and I think I'm much more intelligent than anyone that works at Forbes, of course.
Talk your shit, Rory.
I think that, no, with the internet now, you can go straight to your consumers, so it's easier, I think, to make money than it was before. You don't need a huge outlet to actually give people your music and then buy it. There's regular artists on Apple Music, Spotify, all that shit.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible. I just think maybe the streaming, the way they get paid is tougher because you have to listen to a song 1 million times for them to make $1.
Right.
So I could see in that aspect, but there's ways to give
find
music
it.
to your
Don't
fans
worry.
without Apple Music and Spotify. I think the internet direct to consumer makes it easier for indie artists to have a career, and they can just go on little show runs and make their money.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay. It's a good.
I think they make a good point one way, and I think other way it's a little stilted.
I think they make good points on each side. And this what he's saying is, the one guy saying, excuse me for not knowing the one guy's name on the right
Rory.
side.
Rory. Who's on Button's show.
On Button's show. So he's saying that Forbes is saying that, the pie's being eaten, there's not enough to go around, and people are going to be just kind of washed out. And in a sense, he's absolutely right. And
sure.
And I agree with him 100%. Where I agree with Button is on the other side is that if you're just not an entrepreneurial person and you don't take your music seriously, like building a brand, building a business, you are going to have no shot at all, and especially right now. So this is pre-COVID.
I mean, we see it all the time on here. You look at guys we interview, whether it's, Red Star, who are the most probably entrepreneurial band I know, who we just interviewed this week, and their interview is going to be out in a few weeks on the Friday podcast. Red Star is Mikey Lopez from Nine Electric, our good friend Russell Ray, who we've had on here, who used to be in Vices, who no longer is in that band. A guy named Damien, what was he? He wasn't from Undersleep. It wasn't Armor for Sleep. It was another
Armor for Dead or something. Or
Armor. Anyway, we'll figure it out. We'll correct it and retract or do something. But anyway, we had Damien and Mikey on, and those guys, they brought up the point. They just push forward.
Well, that's the thing. They're coming out. They've developed their band during this time. Like if this time unfolded all the things that wasn't going on in their current bands and allowed them to get together with guys that want to do the things that they never got to do, and they didn't even care about their past projects. They just kept going. They're like, listen, this is what I want to do. I have all these songs, and then everybody connected on the fact that the music is the way they want it to sound, and they're just pushing forward. They're pushing content. And they're doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
However, it's more than just building a brand. Building a brand is one thing, but it's about monetization. And what bands don't currently do, and me being,
I don't think that. By the way, what you're about to say, I think I know what you're about to say, but also bands. It's been the one focal point they've always fell short on is monetization.
Yeah. Monetization. Think about going to a show.
Treating it like a business.
Playing a show. You're going out to East Bumblefuck, wherever you are.
Yeah.
You connect with fans. People are like your music, and then you just leave, and you don't get anybody's email address, their name. You don't build a relationship, rapport with them. So when you come back next time, it's bigger. So now what they're saying is, because of the internet, it allows you to streamline your efforts in the fact that you can get in front of an audience that you were never able to get in front of before, with a very small budget on just to be able to market your material to targeted fans that like that kind of music. And if you're just a little entrepreneurial and you take initiative, you can get in front of whoever you want to get in front of. You capture their contact information, and then you build relationships with them with your content that you're putting out every day, which leads into monetization, because you're going to start putting out, packages that are or appetizing to the people that are subscribing to what you're putting out, and you can build that relationship, and that's the lifeblood of any business.
It's a pipeline.
And it works. It's a pipeline. You're building it, and you're going to help it grow. Otherwise, you're really just pissing in the wind.
Yep.
So
I mean, I think it's really I don't want to say the fault, because that's really pointing the finger.
Well, you're talking hypothetically in general. Wow.
But hypothetically, like I've always seen, like, working in clubs or being on tour or whatever it might be. Like, I've seen bands that have been on like the precipice of getting signed who've like opened up for national acts that I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
One I can think of is a band that's no longer around. I shouldn't mention them, but these were friends of mine, and they ended up going to work with like Tom Morello on a remix of one of their songs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was around the time I was touring Marcy Playground, but they thought they were the shit, and God bless those guys. I love each and every one of them. And if they hear this, they're definitely going to know who they are.
It is what it is.
But it is what it is. But the thing is that I look at that and go, you could have worked so much harder, and they would sell out in their local market, which was a large city. It was a very large city.
Mm-hmm.
And they were playing everywhere. And the guy owned a recording studio and like was, Mr. Music of town. He eventually went to go play on to Filter, this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that they could have been so much bigger if they just, and there's so many bands. And then there was bands I worked with that were a little rough around the edges, like the Empty Minds guys.
Mm-hmm.
But then they would fucking go out every time, and like, dude, there wasn't a person who didn't have a CD.
Right. That worked.
You know what I mean? Yeah. There wasn't a time that they didn't fight to be on the main stage at Warped Tour.
Yeah, that's
when they were just playing in the fucking parking lot.
So take that for example. We know the way it works, especially you, since you were doing sound at that time too, and you were working on a level. I mean, I've been on the lower levels and like some bigger levels, but when you play those shows, if you're not promoting, nobody's coming to watch you. There's 2 other stages for people to go.
But that's like what Jesse Zaretti said. Like, if you're not networking, you're not fucking working.
Yeah, you gotta keep going. Like, because like right now, especially, we just listened to something from like 2 years ago. That was something like that.
Yeah, it's from May 10th, 2017. So like almost 3 years ago.
It's still relevant right now, and it's even more relevant right now, especially on the Bubben's side, than the fact that he's saying the internet allows you to be able to be in front of the right people that you need to get in front of, and with a little bit of smarts, organic campaigns that are, you're releasing your stuff right. You're not just throwing your stuff out there. You have a strategy, and you're releasing content around that song and you're repurposing that content for each platform. And then when you become the time that it comes out where you're single comes out, it's going to hit so much harder. And you put a little advertising behind that, you target your audience. Now you have some momentum going, and you get that press release that you were going to get anyway. That is, you're not playing shows right now, but you start booking some live stream gigs, like just to get it going. It's part of an ecosystem. We want to play traditional shows, but at the same time, what can we do right now that we can't do now at the same time? So what can we get done right now that we wouldn't be able to? So that's huge. And it's, we're going to start talking about the other articles that we're talking about this week, which is bring up the second one we're going to go into. But this is something huge where our episode this week, the last 2 weeks, just because of time the way it's working out, our guest we could talk about, because this week it's coming out, right? We can say,
yeah, let's hold off on that one first, and then let's talk about this whole Spotify thing.
Okay,
talk about that.
Talk about that. This ties.
I mean, we don't have to play the clip, but it's kind of, we were, Greg and I are big fans of Damien Keys, and I more so have only been watching Damien for about a month or so because of Greg.
Yeah, Damien.
We had an episode that basically bashed Daniel X from Spotify.
But to quote him, he does say exactly this. He says this. He says, "I have previously stood up for Spotify," which he had, Daniel X. But with the industry in total despair in 2020, the latest news doesn't fill me with confidence for Spotify being on the side of the musician going forward. So he's being subjective, but at the same point, he is stating an opinion.
Yeah,
which is
here's the thing. I get what he's saying about if Daniel took his $1 billion, personal money, $1 billion, and put it back into the industry. The problem with that personal $1 billion is this. Spotify is a publicly traded company. Daniel X is a very small piece in the chain. He has made his billions from Spotify on the backs of musicians.
Mm-hmm. On the sweat.
And this is one thing that I've seen with millionaires I've worked with or billionaires I've met. You can see it in Zuckerberg. You can see it in a lot of these guys. And this goes back to where I make this point is I listen to a lot of NPR and I listen to a show called Make Me Smart.
Right.
When all this race speech was going on, and not to be political, but over the summer, and, they met with Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg didn't want to ban it. He basically the comment was made about Zuckerberg, or the attitude in the press of Zuckerberg is that as you get richer, the more out of touch you get with the more common man or your purpose in what you started your situation with.
Yep.
I feel this is the same situation with Daniel Ek.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, Spotify should definitely be picking up the torch and helping musicians out and helping venues out. Damien Keys makes a great point that 90% of venues will probably close and go bye-bye. I think we're not going to see the smaller venues and the larger. There's going to be a gap.
Mm-hmm.
Smaller venues are going to be a thing of the past in a lot of places, especially in bigger cities. And we're going to have large venues and large concerts. And you're going to see what we've had over the past few years of like it was weird to me. Like, you looked at maybe it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I saw Ghost is headlining fucking the Forum in LA. Why? Yeah. Why? They're not that big. So it goes, you see what I'm saying? So these bands will sign more and more deals with people like Live Nation, and they'll be playing these bigger venues, but not necessarily be selling them out, I think.
Right. So it'd be like, okay, we're going to put the curtain down on all the seats and then whatever. So it looks like a filled show. But I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen per se, but what it looks like, if businesses aren't in business, they can't stay in business. So all we can do is, be creative and be able to engage fans, because again, if we're the band or the artist and we're able to connect with the fans, that's the most important thing at the end of the day. The shows are something that fans want to see, but if they can't see them, what else can you do to subsidize that? Right now, the internet it's always been there, but people haven't been taking advantage of it like they can. You can literally cut your costs down majorly by just doing a live stream as opposed to a show.
Look at what we had this Friday with Veeps. I mean, I think Lindsay puts it together.
Yeah.
And their company puts it together in such a way that you guys don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, you don't even need the Veeps branding to be out there. They can just be the back end of it for you.
They're the fulfillment. So like, you want to have a show at a good venue. I mean, that company's great in the fact that you know, an artist or a band at certain most levels aren't going to be able to get a contract with Live Nation. As this week as well, we could say that Corey Taylor just did the live stream at the Forum. So
right, and the thing is obviously Corey's
Corey. He's a bigger.
Corey is the 1% of musicians, and also Corey. We love him to death on the show. Both his manager Corey Brennan and Corey himself. But you know the thing is that you know Corey also has, we say a lot of Corey on air, has 20 years of a career,
right,
with 3 different bands.
So that leverage is crucial to him being able to have these types of contracts with a big monstrosity of.
And I can also tell you, you take this point back to this with those guys. Just knowing him on a slightly personal level, you know, the guy works his ass off.
Yes, that doesn't mean
there's not a day that and so to back to Damien Keys' point of we need to help out musicians. Yes, we do, but you guys also need to start helping themselves in a lot of ways. And not to say that everybody who listens to our show doesn't help themselves. There's a lot of you out there that do. But there's definitely a part or a sect, small percentage that doesn't. That's the one that complains the most.
Most people don't help themselves. I'm
trying to be nice.
This is an unapologetic podcast. I'm not downing anybody. It's analysis by paralysis. Like you get too much information out there, you don't know where to start. But let's be honest, it starts with you making music, you documenting that music, you putting it out, engaging with people that are interested in that, then taking that and putting it out. Keep doing that consistently. And when you actually put out your music, the good recorded stuff, hey man, now you have a fan base, and like then you're going to be in demand to play, and then you'll have a better chance of playing clubs like the Forum. But I'll tell you what, the companies like the
Forum's arena,
right? Okay, right. But Veeps is like gives you the artist that's not even like it's the underdog artist that gives them the opportunity to play a really good venue that you probably wouldn't even have been able to play in a traditional model.
And you know what the thing is like, and we'll roll this into our next story. We do, you know, we have Machine coming on this week onto the show on Friday. We've swapped some episodes around because
Machine Gene Freeman.
He almost sounds like a race car driver. But it was an amazing interview with him. One is I've been a huge fan of his for years of the records he's done, such as Sacrament, Ashes of the Wake. My personal favorite, Clutch's Pure Rock Fury. And you know, a record that really made an impression on me was Head P's Broke. He just does really good stuff, and
the Grammy Award-winning producer.
He's a Grammy Award-winning producer. 1, 2 is he has a new show where he's trying to help bands out called Machine Shop Live Machine Shop Live.
Yep.
And it's from his barn in Austin, Texas, where he has this studio, and he's had Contortionist on, and this week on Wednesday, he will be having Fire from the Gods on there.
Hence why we kind of shifted things around. We were going to move our episode this week from another artist that's great as well, which you will hear from later, but not this week.
Probably next week. But
we're lining up the momentum with Machine's release of Fire from the Gods. But the thing is, Machine realized something about what's going on, and it inspired him. And you know,
but he also had this before.
He had the recollection, but this like put the pedal to the metal. And he really took it seriously, and he opened up a multimedia studio in Texas, huge property.
Looks like Heavy Metal's Daryl's house.
It does, the Heavy Metal.
Daryl's house.
Yeah, Daryl's. I love that show, by the way.
It's a great show.
So basically, you go in and you get a live streamed session, but it's like professional as fuck. Like, you know, it's really well sounded. Like it's from.
Well, it's also from the point of the band. So like they shoot it from the center of the fucking room, which is great.
All different camera angles. So he's doing that now, and he's like, yeah, why can't we do something in one place and have everything you need in one place and be able to do that on top of what we were doing already? Beautiful. Now, not all bands are going to be able to afford that, but at the same point, the idea still resonates true. That you can be doing live streaming with a company like the Veeps that will take you, have an artist rep, help you promote it, and you could sell tickets through something like a portal like that, dashboard like that exclusively. This way we bypass all the companies that are the middleman and you're going direct. And that's way better than, essentially being left to your own devices.
Totally.
Right on.
Totally. It was an absolute honor to have Machine on the show this week.
He's like a dream producer.
He
man.
was always, one thing is he was always on like the hit list of like big, great guests that we would love to have on our show.
That's one for the bucket list.
Yeah, it's one for the bucket list, but also he's so approachable and so cool. And he just talks and speaks so candidly about his career and about Machine Shop Live and where it's going and how music is going and how he's done it and accomplished it. It's really an amazing interview.
And it ties into the
best ones we've done.
It ties into the success Leave Cluths thing because most of our guests, I'd say probably all of them, if not, you start talking to them about when they transition from a regular Joe to doing what they're doing. And It was like one thing, one opportunity led to another opportunity, and then they never looked back after that. Like that same thing with him. He was in a band, I believe.
Yeah, his own band called Machine.
All right, there you go. And then
a rock hip hop thing.
Yeah, he had his own, like he was really good at like looping and like having sound samples like that people really liked, and he like innovated it and people started really digging it, and then he started getting calls by record labels.
Just let them hear it, man, because it's so good.
It's cool. It's awesome.
I edited it yesterday, and it just
you edited it
yesterday. I edited it yesterday. I did the edit yesterday, and it literally, I was just like, man, I gotta watch this again after I finished it.
Yeah,
because it was so good. So really excited to bring that to you guys this week. Hey, I know we sometimes bring some serious content on the Sunday night thing here for the State of the Union. The one thing everyone needs to realize out there is that you absolutely, no matter who the fucking president is, no matter what's going on outside, no matter if the sky's fucking falling, you still have the control of
taking initiative
and controlling your own destiny.
Yep.
No better time than now. And we said it on last week's State of the Union about how, if you're going to go out for 3 hours of show, you better sharpen your axe for 8.
Yep. Just
be prepared. Now's the time to be creative. Who gives a fuck what's going on outside?
Yeah.
The precautions you need to take not to get sick. The precautions you need to do, to keep yourself afloat financially right now. Just go out and do it, man. I've watched so many friends of mine become either down in the dumps and not really use their time productively during this period of whatever.
Understandably, it does take a toll, but it doesn't have to. Like if you're just pivot.
Yeah. No, that's my point. Or you can just take it and run with the ball like we've done with this podcast, like we're doing with some other stuff that we'll present in the next few months that we're working on. It's just, the thing is that what you can do with a phone and a computer these days and make yourself profitable is pretty fucking amazing and doesn't take that much work, really, if you think about the big scheme of things.
And even so even people that I work with are like they're just adjusting now. And it's the paradigm that we have as musicians is like, we got to play shows to make money. Yes, but no, really, you'll make more money having some type of digital online business, which you essentially will do anyway and you'll do better with. So guys, right now you do that, you start doing this. And when the time comes and we start playing shows again, I'm going to say it every single time, it's going to be way more fucking impactful. You're going to have a way better impact. You're going to resonate way more. Don't just sit on the sidelines and watch everybody else do nothing while people like us are telling you to do shit and the people on our show are doing shit. Like they're making moves. Make moves because that's what you're here to do. If you feel like you're meant to do this, do it. Don't fucking sit around and just fucking with your thumb up your ass. Like make moves.
The thing is that success is built on consistency.
Just be consistent. Just be like our shit. Like we're still working on it. We're not any pros or anything about the monetization. That's why we have people on our shows, so we could show you guys these are credible people that are doing it, and we're tapping into their networks and learning from them, and we're applying it to what we're doing. But the one thing we're doing that I love, Mike, is we're consistent every week.
Oh yeah.
So we're batching out
every fucking day, dude.
Yeah. So like,
I don't think we've missed a day since July 5th when we started the first podcast.
And I think it was because of I was sick, but like not with the pandemic.
Oh God!
But regardless, yeah, just be consistent. That's all that matters. That's the most important thing. And like, just obviously make it thought out. Don't like half-fast it. But
yeah,
that's it. I mean, so do we have another article that you wanted to talk about?
Not really. Okay. I think we've covered it all.
This week, Friday.
This week, Friday. What is the date of this week? Is it 10/9? 10/9, I think it is, right? 10/9.
Yep, I think it is 10/9. Sorry, guys. Yeah, 10/9. 10/9
will be Machine. It'll be 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern time. That will debut. Do not miss it because it's pretty freaking huge. And then also go to Machine Shop Live on YouTube and watch Fire from the Gods this Wednesday on there. It's going to be freaking amazing, and we'll leave it in the show notes.
Yep, we'll share it as well on our platform when we get it.
Yeah, when it comes out. But yeah,
thank you for meeting with me and of the minds and the meeting of the minds. And
wow, you're just so awkward today.
Why? Do I look
awkward? Thank you for meeting with me.
Well, today I'll have what is your best beer? What is your best item on the menu? Wait a minute. I haven't been to a restaurant in a hot minute.
Dude, I went to one a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's an outdoor bar, and it was like the weirdest experience in the world.
What, people don't know how to serve anymore because they're like...
People just don't know how to interact, it seems.
Yeah. Well,
it was like the crazy thing was they used to wipe down the table with whatever fucking Jersey Turnpike rag they had, and it would just basically wipe disease over disease. Well, this time, like my local bar, Fat Dog, Eric, everybody over there, we love you guys. They literally came in like a fucking hazmat crew, sprayed the table down, wiped it down twice, like face shield on, like it was a real fucking hazmat deal. And I just was like, wow, okay, this is what we're living in. So it's very interesting. I was like, I don't know if I want to go to a restaurant anymore.
That's scary. I'm freaked the fuck out.
I'm freaked the fuck out. Not going to lie. There was some comfort in the dirty rag.
Now it's time for a poem.
Oh, no.
I don't have one, but
good. Thank God. But anyway, that's the State of the Union for this week for 10/4/2020. We'll see you guys next week for 10/11. And be safe, guys, and have a great week.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.